Not even 24 hours after the inauguration of that asshole, I decided to go for the path of most resistance. I wanted to be out there putting exclamation points at the end of always saying, this is not normal. And within a few weeks, I was averaging 2 protest marches a week, 2 organizing meetings, writing cards and letters to my senators and House of Representatives, making phone calls. I was just going at it. And the whole thing culminated a few months ago, in the middle of April, when I had my first arrest at Trump Tower for an act of civil disobedience. I was a virgin at being arrested, so I lost my virginity. And just like when I lost my sexual virginity, I wanted to tell everybody. Everybody was going to find out about this. So I was really, really proud of what happened. There were 25 of us, and we had infiltrated Trump Tower. Kills me to say the name, but I have to say it because it's that fucking tower in Midtown. And we posed as tourists. I actually had to have on the cap that said "Make America Great Again." I had on only one polo shirt, but I had one polo shirt on with the collar up. And I was just, and on the signal, we all started screaming and chanting. And it was in pro-immigration and pro-refugee. So we were screaming, no banners, no raids, no walls. We threw flyers around. We hung banners. That was my job, hanging a banner from the top of the atrium. So we knew we were going to get arrested. And I felt so proud of this passion that I was feeling. Now, a little bit of background of how that passion came about. I was lucky enough to have a relationship of 18 years with a wonderful guy. And unfortunately, he died in 2012. And when he died, part of me died with him. I just fell apart. And I wanted to get back from the grief, and I knew I had to work myself back from that. But there was this hole that was left in me. And even more than that, there was no sense of passion. There was no sense of excitement. There was no sense of getting boners. There was no sense of getting boners. About a year after that happened, my friends and family were riding me real hard. And they said, you know, you gotta get back into the world. You gotta start dating again. Go online. I'm like, I'm a neophyte to all this online shit. But you know, being a people pleaser, I figured, what the fuck? And in one fell swoop, I signed up for every gay dating app at once. I was on OkCupid, and Grindr, and Scruff. I was on Tinder. I was on Squirt, and I was on them all. And I wrote profiles for all of them. And within 1 week, I got responses. The first guy I met up with, we meet, we go out to a bar, we're having a drink, and he confides to me that he's really into BDSM. I didn't even know what that stood for. And role-playing. And I told him, you know, this might not work out. I don't even know what that is. I've never done it. He said, I'll teach you. I'll teach you. So I let him teach me. I became this open student. And he got this big kick out of tying me up, blindfolding me, and playing cops and robbers for adults, and putting me up against the wall and saying, spread your legs. I'm going to be frisking you now. And he'd do all of this stuff and act it out and then do things with me. And, you know, it didn't work out with him at all. It did not work out. But I learned an awful lot. And I learned that this passion can really get me going. And that started my dating again. And getting back at the age of 50, I was 55 at the time, to start dating, to start exploring, to be adventurous again. And that led to my passions around protesting. And it's what also led me back to that Trump Tower as I'm screaming away on the floor, and the security guards and the Secret Service agents come in and scream, get down, you're all down there until the cops come. And they called the special forces units, but they couldn't get enough paddy wagons lined up. They finally got them all, they all came in, and I'm looking at this line of cops with their Ziploc handcuffs on their side. And my eyes catch one of them, I'm like, this is me. He comes up to me. He was so friggin' handsome. Handsome. Just really amazing. And he said, I'm going to have to handcuff you. And I let out this whimper. Oh. He said, are you okay? I said, yes. And he handcuffed me. He said, I'm going to be reaching in your back pocket for your identification. Is that okay? Oh, yes. Yeah. paddy wagon. And I'm like, oh, yes, do it. And all the others that were in my group decided, and we were trained in this, that they were going to resist arrest. And they'd have to be picked up by the cops. And my arresting officer, that friggin' man, said to me, are you going to resist arrest? And you know, owing to my weight, how fat I was, and solidarity with the cops, there was no way I was going to let them carry me. So I said, no. So he said, in other words, can I just take you? And I thought of the double entendre, and I said back then, yes. You can just take me. And he put me in the paddy wagon. We go downtown. I'm in to a precinct down in the East Village, and I get out, and the arresting officer was with us. He said, now I'm going to put you in a cell, and here's what's going to happen next. And I am wet at this point. I am dying. I'm loving it. And he said, you're going to stay in there until we process you, and that could take 24 hours. It did. It took a day. There was enough time for me to calm down, cool down, but smile at all of that freaking stuff that was going on. And I came out of it with this understanding. You know something, Richard? It is okay to be that much of a social justice warrior. And it's okay to be that sexual adventurous as you've been in your life. And it's okay to make all the noise that you want in life. But you know something? It ain't okay to try to juggle those 3 goddamn things at once. So I stopped doing that. About a week after that, there was this photographer that was filming the whole thing, APUPI, and this picture of me screaming at the top of my lungs with my hands behind my back was circulating around Facebook. My family was putting it up, friends were putting it up, and I just looked at this. And then I said, I can put all of these ideas together. That famous picture of Richard Cardillo being arrested at Trump Tower is now my profile picture. Okay, Cupid, grind this.